I've almost lost my life 3 different times, and every single time I came back totally different. It literally took my light out. 5 years of healing, 5 years of searching for doctors, 5 years rebuilding mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I lost my entire identity. I no longer recognized myself. I feared I would never feel beautiful again, never feel confident again. Who are you when everything external gets stripped away? And for the first time, I stopped living for validation. I stopped trying to perform. I stopped trying to prove. I began rebuilding a version of myself that was actually aligned. Real wealth means nothing if your soul is bankrupt, and success without alignment eventually breaks people. I almost died 3 times in my life. Here's what it finally taught me. The third accident I experienced changed everything. Not only because I almost died, but because I finally understood I wasn't truly living out my true purpose yet. There are moments in life where God whispers to you quietly. Then there are moments where life shakes you violently enough that you can no longer ignore who you're becoming. I've almost lost my life 3 different times, and every single time I came back totally different. This episode isn't just about survival. It's about identity, it's about purpose, it's about alignment. It's about the wealth magnet that activates when a woman finally becomes who she was truly created to be. Welcome to Own Your Life. My name is Janelle Jamont, and this is where we talk a lot about the insurance and the financial world as a woman, about wealth capacity, healing, extreme leadership, feminine power, legacy building, and becoming. If you are a woman building something bigger than yourself, a mother carrying the weight of everyone around you, a woman in leadership, entrepreneurship, finance, insurance, business, or simply trying to figure out how to evolve into your next level, this space was built for you. Not just to make money, not just to build success, but to build a life that actually feels aligned. Because I've learned something most people don't understand until it's too late. You can look successful on the outside and still feel spiritually disconnected on the inside. I was only 21 years old, asleep in the back seat of a car, and in one single moment, everything changed. Young Janelle was suddenly thrown through a windshield, landing face down in water on the side of the road, slowly dying in the darkness. And by the grace of God, road workers nearby saw the accident that night and pulled me out in time. I later woke up in Mount Hope Hospital in Champlain, Trinidad, surrounded by family, fighting my way back to life. I survived, but survival came with a cost. I was unable to walk for almost 9 months. Can you imagine being young, ambitious, full of dreams, and suddenly your body no longer feels like your own? Everything you once took for granted, movement, freedom, independence, instantly stripped away. And yet, even after surviving something that traumatic, that experience should have slowed me down mentally and spiritually. But honestly, I don't think I fully understood the lesson yet. I survived physically, but I hadn't awakened emotionally. Sometimes survival alone doesn't transform you. Sometimes people survive things and continue living disconnected anyway. Looking back now, I realized life was already trying to wake me up. Then came the second accident. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. We were leaving an event. Our pickup truck flipped off the highway nearly 10 to 14 feet down onto the opposite side of the highway, facing oncoming traffic. The truck was completely totaled. And what I experienced in those moments, I still struggle to fully explain. Whilst inside the vehicle, as it flipped more than several times through the air, I remember I was wide awake, and all I know is that time slowed down. Everything became completely silent. It felt like I passed through another dimension, and I vividly remember calling out to my maternal grandparents, who had already passed away, asking for help. And at that point, I was already a mother. I had 2 young children under 5 years old. And in those moments, I realized how fragile life truly is. Then I remember seeing hundreds of headlights of cars that stopped through the shattered windshield. As we climbed through the broken windows, people surrounded us. One of my staff was with me that night in the truck, and somehow we walked away, awake, alert, alive. And still, I left that accident happy to see another day. I was happy to be with my children and grateful for something that I embrace every day. I kept moving through life. Not completely disconnected, but disconnected enough. Disconnected enough to continue ignoring certain parts of myself that needed healing. Disconnected enough to keep operating from survival instead of true alignment. And then came the third accident. The one that changed everything. A gas fire explosion in my own kitchen. I was burnt from my hip all the way down to my toes. The pain was something I cannot fully describe to you. Honestly, I remember saying I would rather go through 10 more natural births than ever experience burns from a gas and fire again. It literally took my light out for 5 years. 5 years of healing, 5 years of searching for doctors, 5 years rebuilding mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And during that season, I lost my entire identity. The entertainment industry version of me collapsed. I disappeared. I stopped showing up publicly. I no longer recognized myself. I feared I would never feel beautiful again, never feel confident again. And when a woman loses her identity, especially after years of attaching value to appearance, performance, success, validation, it forces her into a confrontation with her soul. Who are you when everything external gets stripped away? That question changed my life because isolation did something success never could. It forced me to meet myself. I got closer to God, closer to nature, closer to silence. And for the first time, I stopped living for validation. I stopped trying to perform. I stopped trying to prove. I began rebuilding a version of myself that was actually aligned. That season changed the way I viewed everything: wealth, leadership, motherhood, beauty, purpose, and success. Because now I understand something deeply. Real wealth means nothing if your soul is bankrupt. And success without alignment eventually breaks people. That's why I'm here. Because I know there are women right now building businesses while emotionally exhausted, leading teams while secretly disconnected, smiling online or in public while silently drowning inside. I want women to understand this. You do not have to lose yourself to become successful. You can build wealth and remain whole. Sometimes God isolates you long enough to rebuild the version of you the world was never supposed to break. I am an agency owner, entrepreneur, mother, and woman rebuilding legacy through alignment, wealth, healing, leadership, and purpose. And if this story resonated with you, I want you to join me on the journey of ownership, healing, feminine leadership, generational wealth, and becoming the highest version of yourself. Subscribe to this channel, share this with a woman who needs it, and welcome to Own Your Life.